Hello, 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 and welcome to the Thursday edition of Live Stream with Joe Daddy's Garage. I already see I have some people in the queue. I have Greg Workshop already here. Glad you're here, Greg. Owen Play, checking in. Hi, Barry. How are you? I'm well, and Greg asked me as that same question. So yes, I am well. Thank you. Jorge checking in. Ricard checking in from Sweden. And Jeff Reynolds from the UK. He's on his way to go pick up his wife from work. That's awesome. Hi, Owen. Crash Rider, greetings from Southern Indiana. Have only been waiting a little bit. Good. And Chris Greenaway, glad you're here. I'm sure others will appear soon. This is the Thursday afternoon edition of my live stream. I do it on Mondays and Thursdays. Monday night at 7 and Thursdays at 3 p.m. so I can get more people, let's say, from different parts of the world on here. If you're interested in being on the live stream, by all means, send me an email to joedaddysgarage@gmail.com, as it is on the bottom of the screen. And if you want to get on, that's fine. If you do, we want to keep it, car related, car topics, projects, whatever is going on that you're working on, updates, all those sort of things are fine. We just want to try to keep it as much car friendly or as car based as we can. So, consider that if you're interested. Thank you. Let's see. We have Jason Schneider. Just watched the latest video on the turn signals. Even I was getting frustrated just watching it. Yeah, it can be that way. But that's part of the process, when you're using aftermarket parts and trying to merge things together, they don't always go so smooth, but it'll be fine. And I will point out, I had somebody email me earlier today. Where's my email? Email me earlier today that they had a set of original pieces that they offered to me. So, those I'm probably going to get those anyway, regardless. Regardless if I use them or not, I want to have them and have them on hand. So he's going to send me an original set. So I'm looking forward to getting those. But yeah, always a challenge with aftermarket parts. Harvey checking in from New Jersey. Glad you're here. Owen, did you work on the Mustang? Not much. I edited another video this morning. That's on the other channel, Joe Daddy's Workshop, and that one is in relation to the air compressor build that I did. So I need to get that taken care of, and that's what I worked on primarily. And then I had to do some stuff around the yard, some things around the house. Being retired doesn't mean I can be out here 100% of the time. There's other things that I need to do with life. So, but I will be working on it. I promise. Karsten checking in. I believe Denmark, if I remember correctly. Chris, Barry, been wondering, Barry, if I made that hood rammer, how would I go doing about it? I seen mesh at the last car show. If I made that hood rammer, how would I go doing? I seen mesh. Which hood? Which hood are we talking about? And will it add power? Debatable. Yeah, I think that's your next question. Ram air is probably more of a catchy phrase, just like Cal induction. The 7.7 formula. Now I see you. Yeah. Odds are you're not going to get much forced air coming through that because that nose is sloped and it really is just already kicking the air up. And it's going to be really hard to get any kind of reverse airflow, airflow coming in that's going to help at all. It's like the Camaros and the Mustang or the Chevelles had the Cal induction hood. Well, what that dealt with was high pressure at the windshield, basically being blown back forward and coming into the backside. So it was forced in that direction. To make an air scoop, it really has to be moving pretty fast for you to gain much as far as volume. So it would take probably a lot of building to try to make it happen. I don't really see a benefit on that end. David and Cheryl checking in. Glad you're here. Am so. Phil here, just checking in. Okay. So I guess it was. Okay. Phil, was it you that I was emailing this morning? I guess. Because I don't know who's who. The King is checking in. Mitch, what engine is in Jade? Heard her fire up last live stream. She sounds great. Can't wait for my engine to be put in. It is a 302. The car originally came with a 289, and the 289 was junk. I had taken it to a friend of mine who does engine. Well, he does my transmissions primarily, but he also builds engines for himself, and he does some drag racing on the side. So I took him my 289, and he gave it a once over and determined it was junk. So he built this 302 from ones that he had. And there's a couple videos on it running. There's one with the exhaust. Then when I put the exhaust on the car, because it has the Thrush welded mufflers on it. So there's a video on that. And on that video, I identify the camshaft in the comment section or in the description to give you some insight as to what the, those numbers are. Now, what he did to it beyond the cam, I really don't know. Because when we were talking about building the engine, I really just kind of wanted a stock engine, and he got excited and he built me better than stock, which I appreciate. I really do. It sounds awesome, and I can't wait to have it out on the road and really listen to it. So, anyway, good question though. Owen, I just got home from school to watch the stream. Well, good. I'm glad you're here. Boondocker is checking in. Good afternoon. Let's see, Chris, those turn signal scoops face the driver. Yes, they face back towards the windshield. So, it's one of those things where it was just kind of a neat little option they had. If you look at this, like the 69, the 69 for sure, you could get little turn signal indicators in the scoop, in the hood scoop itself. So they were just little indicators. I don't know if the 70 had those, but I know the 69 did. And that hood scoop was used. Something's telling me I know I've seen that scoop on a 68, but I don't know if it was an option or not, or if somebody just put it on there. I can't remember. So anyway, the signal indicators face back towards the driver. Yes. Oh, and I just got my new almost scrap Dodge Charger from a friend, and I'm working on it. Well, good. That's a good call. Mitch, 289, so it's early 68 then, correct? Do you know what factory it's from? No. At this moment, I don't. I don't remember. I have the plates and stuff, but I don't remember specifically where it came from. I'll have to look that up at some point, just for curiosity. All right, ZZ Top. How come that you call your channel Joe Daddy? Well, I've talked about this before, and we'll talk about it again. Whenever I started this channel, it was to promote our body shop. At the time, it was called Midway Collision. In fact, I wear this. You've seen the shirt in the videos. This is one of our old T-shirts, So that was our second logo that we had. Anyway, the idea was to make videos at the body shop primarily that would promote the work that we did at the body shop. And that was fine. It really wasn't, generating any kind of, much of nothing views and stuff. But it, anyway, it progressed from there until I left the body shop in, I think it was 2013. When I left the body shop, I still had the YouTube channel. And I decided, well, what can I do? I don't want to continue to call it Midway collision, whatever it was, because it doesn't make any sense. So I changed it to Joe Daddy's Garage. Now, the reason for that is my daughter's name is Joe, or JoJo is what we call her. And so, her name abbreviated is just JO, and I'm her daddy. So it was like, how can I make this work to say something smooth? So it was like Joe's daddy. And I was like, wait a minute, Joe Daddy's. And that's kind of how it came about. So it just stuck. It has a nice catch to it. It's easy to remember. And I think people like it, I guess. But that's the story behind Joe Daddy's Garage. Chris, wish I had a better rear axle ratio, 241 axle. Could upgrade to the 400, but couldn't put the 323 in her. Yeah. I mean, those cars, the 241, that was an attempt probably to get some kind of fuel mileage out of it. But I mean, you can change it, but just know it'll run different. 68, 69 Trinos face the driver on the scoop. Okay. So there you go. Good answer. Give you a bell for that. Jeff Reynolds. Barry and all, I'm not sure about this tightening up. Tightening up? What are you saying, Jeff? What does that mean? Tightening up. Did I say something referencing tightening up? Now you lost me. Oh, and that's what I'm doing in my garage while I'm watching the live stream. Cool. What year Charger is it? You have to let us know. What did you say that? It's scrap. He says scrap Dodge Charger. That could be a variety of years. So let us know what year you're talking about. Mitch, going to be working on putting a new heater box in my 68. Do you have any experience with putting one together? Putting one together, no. I took one apart. I will say, though, I don't know if Harvey can give some insight onto that. I know he rebuilt his Rally Cat Garage. Harvey on Instagram, Rally Cat Garage. I know that he rebuilt his heater box. Now, whether he has any information on that, I don't know for sure. But all I've ever done on these cars is take them out. I have not rebuilt one. So the one that was in Jade was the factory air condition, and I took all that stuff out and I sold it because I had no use for it. I knew I was putting in a vintage air kit, so I sold all that stuff. But that's about as far as I can get. Jeff, Barry, no, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure about this tightening up on car related only. Cars related, that covers a broad spectrum, right? I mean, come on. Could be talking about, again, I know your favorite movies. Could be talking about movies. We can talk about Matchbox cars, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. In a little bit. Remember that. NYM, so do you have any thoughts on installing jacking rails on a 65 Ranchero? I do not. I don't even know. What is that? A jacking rail? Are you talking about for a jack point? I'm not familiar with that expression, so maybe give me some more information on that. Okay, so Owen's saying it's 2015 Dodge Charger. Get parts for it? No, I wouldn't be able to give you any kind of insight on that. I mean, you can look. I don't know what you need, but if you go to if you're looking, save a few bucks, try Rock Auto, see what they offer. Maybe they have some stuff available that would be, would fit for whatever you need, but I don't know what you need. But Rock Auto sometimes has good deals. Depending on what it is, you may be able to go to Summit Racing and, try them. Otherwise, you're just limited to whatever's available on the net. And then, of course, a Dodge dealer. Okay, so Jeff dropped his iPad mid comment. Well, you shouldn't be driving and typing while you're, trying to make a comment. Let's see. Chris, seen a 72 Torino Sport for sale in the U.S. and I'm interested in, but SI border is closed. Yeah. Can't help you there. Can't help you at all. Brian, I can only stand tidying up a little bit. Tightening up, I guess, maybe a little bit. Ricard, I'm here for the car chat and often drop out if other topics are being discussed. Well, that's what I'm trying to, I want to try to stay focused on car stuff. It's easy to get off on some weird tangent, but again, try to stick to car stuff. Chris, Rock Auto for newer stuff, referring to Owen. Junkyards or scrapyards, pull apart. Yeah, very, very good. Rally Cat, Harvey, I bought a seal kit from CJ Pony and a few vacuum motors, completely disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled. Pics on my Instagram, Rally Cat Garage. So there you go. There's the answer to your heater box. Look him up. Look up the pics on Instagram. Jeff, I've been at the hospital for 10 minutes. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, I just did a video on this hood, trying to get, again, everything to fit as it should. We all know it's a challenge. We all know that nothing ever fits. I don't even know, honestly, if original pieces would fit perfect or not, because it's an aftermarket hood. I don't even know how well the original pieces fit into an original hood. I don't even know that because I don't have one. I don't have a reference. But that's how it goes. So we'll have to figure that out as we go along. And when those other parts come, I may do a test fit and show that as well. Jeff, personally, I don't find car stuff only that funny. Well, it can be, I mean, I say car stuff. We don't want to talk politics or, get too far off on the weather or stuff like that. Just try to keep it focused. Christian, is it worth converting a 67 coupe Mustang to a convertible or a fastback? Is it worth it to you is probably the question. The difficulty with any of these conversions is it's going to maintain the original serial number. Anybody who looks up the serial number is going to know that it was a coupe chassis, basically, or whatever. So you have to determine if it's worth, your effort and time. If you're going to keep the car and enjoy it, then it's probably worth it. I have seen people, doing these conversions and selling them. And some people just don't care that it's originally a coupe that's converted to, primarily a fastback. So I don't know what the market is for that. I've considered, doing some of that myself, but again, I don't know what the market would bear for that. So it has to be worth it for you first. So I'll just leave it at that. David Outdoors checking in. Glad you're here. Chris Greenaway, yeah, Christian, it's whatever you want. It's your passion, your vehicle. Yeah. Yep. David, my Formula 350 is going to become a 383. Well, there you go. I figured you would rebuild that engine. I figured you would. Ricard, my first Mustang was a 67 coupe with the hood inserts and blinker indicators. That was the coolest thing to watch them cruising at night. Yeah. I guess, I hadn't thought about it, but I would assume, I don't know why it wouldn't, if you turn on your four-way flashers, that those would also blink. I would assume so. I don't know. Makes sense to me. Owen, I've been looking at a 94 Mustang GT, but it's a little high in price, but I've been trying to drop the price with the guy. Well, you never know. Sometimes people just change their mind all of a sudden and you're set. Jeff, Barry, like you explained where J Daddy's Garage came from, I previously explained my role. Yes. It's easy top. I'm planning to buy a hydraulic throwout bearing kit for a Mustang 66 T5 world class, but I think it's too expensive. Have you ever made your own hydraulic clutch from different used parts to save money? No, I have not. Now, again, I would default to Rally Cat Garage, Harvey. He has done the conversion, and I forget, he has some details on what he used. So maybe he can give us some information on that. I think he used parts from a 90-something Mustang to make it happen. So maybe there's some information he can share. I'm sure he's listening, so he'll probably pop in with something. Chris, my 70, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it was up here last. Dave Britton checking in. Glad you're here, Dave. Appreciate it. Boondocker, Barry, didn't you title the chat Car Talk to avoid riffraff chiming in when they didn't even know what your site is based on? Yeah, I mean, I tried a couple different titles and different things. I know, and thankfully I have some people here help me with the moderators, because on Monday night we had a bunch of odd stuff going on, and I had to block some people and different things like that. So, and some people they don't have much else to do in life, so they find a live chat and just start throwing comments on there just to see what kind of responses they get. And they might last for a minute, but no, get rid of them. Okay, so David Outdoors is at work. He's okay. He'll check in another time. Okay, all right. I wanted to call. I'm going to talk about Throwback Thursday for a minute, and that's what this hat is about. I don't know if you've noticed it much, but this is probably one of my oldest hats that I have, and I've got my old green hat that's fallen apart that I need to throw away, and I've got hats that people have sent to me. Here's one with the Orion Maintenance Matters was sent to me. I've got some from HD Supply and different things, different stuff, but I was trying to find a different hat to wear just because. So this is my Throwback Thursday hat. This hat is a Mac Tools racing hat. And if you look on the side, November 12th, 95. Okay. Now what's interesting to me about this hat is I have a bunch of these Mac Tools hats. Now, back in 92, 93, somewhere around that time, when I hired in at work, my job at Delta in 91, we had a Mac Tools distributor who would come out to to our job and sell tools. And at that time you could have an account to where you could buy whatever, and then the company would pay out of your salary $25 a month automatically till it was paid off. Well, along with the tools that he sold, occasionally Mac Tools used to sponsor NASCAR. They used to sponsor a lot of big things, but they sponsored NASCAR, and they had tickets available, kind of like a VIP sort of thing, to where you can buy the tickets, and you would end up with, you get a hat and maybe, a shirt or something. And then you would also get, your ticket would get you into the pits. So you had like a pit pass. It was kind of cool. You'd get all these little extras that normal ticket buyers would not get. So anyway, I have this hat, which I don't know if this is the first race that I went to. I can't remember. And maybe one older than this. I don't know if they put the dates on every one of them or not. But I also got to meet drivers of cars at that point. I have some hats that are autographed from different drivers. And I did that probably 5, 6, 7 years. I would go to the race doing Mac Tools using Mac Tools as a ticket. And then 1 year I decided, I don't know if I decided not to do it or if I had somebody offer me something different. And it was doing security at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And what that entailed was I would have literally nothing more than a hat that said AMS security on it. That was all it said. That was the only security device that I had. We didn't have any kind of radios. We didn't have any kind of nothing. We had nothing, just a hat. But the idea was you would go to the race and do security, which meant keeping people out of certain areas, maybe help people get, find their way wherever they're headed if you can. It wasn't real critical, but it was really just meant to be a show of security for the race. So I did that, and I volunteered. It was a volunteer status because you would volunteer your time, and then the money that they would pay you would actually go to a charity. So I wouldn't get any money out of it, but I'd be down at the racetrack. From like, I think 9 or 10 in the morning, all the way until the race was over, whatever time that was. So there were many times I spent 10 or 12 hours at the track. But it was nice because I got to see the race for free. I could keep track and watch the race. We were fed well because a lot of times we were in it. We figured out where we could go to stay in a security area. We would volunteer for certain areas, and there was like it used to be the old press box, as they called it, and it was kind of a place that was rented out for high end people that had money. They would bring in their company or whatever, and they would set them up in the old press booth, and then we were in that zone helping keep people out of their booth, and also whatever else was involved. And they would feed us. They would feed us really good, so we would get some good food out of that. But anyway, I just thought it was really kind of neat when I saw this hat up there, and it reminded me of that whole process of going to the races and being involved with it. Now, I haven't been to a NASCAR race in a long, long time. I think my last one was, I don't know if it was Bristol, probably Bristol, sometime in I don't even know, 2010, something like that. I don't even know anymore. But that's the last race that I went to. So anyway, let me see here. We got Owen. Good thing about the Mustang, I'm getting him to drop the price. But he says he will try to drop the price. But if it does, I still would need to work to get enough money for it. Yeah. Unfortunately, still got to pay for things. So, Chris, I'm going to hopefully be in paint by May. Interior's almost done except for the worn seats and two cigarette holes in the transmission console. Yeah. Unfortunately, that was, pretty common for that era. Rally Cat, he has information about the conversion that was asked earlier. And Mustang Steve, cable conversion, you need a bell housing and trans or front input shaft from a Fox body. Excellent kit for 68 Mustang. So there you go. Thank you for that. Greg, the car is going well. Yes, it is, Greg. It's coming along. It's actually doing pretty well. Barry, I see I'm going to have to establish my car chat credentials. Yes. Pics and video. Yeah, okay. Oh, and $25,000 for a 94 Mustang GT? Ooh, that sounds high to me. If he said it was a 94, I believe. Yeah, that sounds pretty high to me, but maybe I don't know what the market bears on those cars, but that's pretty high. That's pretty high. My opinion. I could be wrong. All right, let's see. Jeffrey Gates. Found holes in the rear floor pans on my 66. I only have a 110 flux core. Will this be okay to use for the pan replacement? Well, honestly, I prefer a gas mag. Me. I have heard of people and seen people use the flux core to do pans. So I'm going to say it'll work. I know it'll work. But I just have the, I just like the MIG. So, but flux core will work, just won't be as pretty. So just know that. A lot of grinding. That's fine. You can make it look good. 428 Power. Good afternoon. Glad you're here. Dave, Barry, have you ever thought it would be interesting to build a autocross 68 Mustang? Yeah, that would be. Yeah. I'm all for that. Sure. That'd be awesome. I just have to find another one, I guess. Because I don't think I'd want to do it to this one. This one's already got its life kind of figured out. So, Chris, Barry, when to clone, when to buy the real deal. If you want a hot rod clone, if you want to be a caretaker, buy the real deal. Okay. So I guess you're asking when is it better to buy a clone versus buying the real deal? If you want a hot rod clone, if you want to be a caretaker, buy the real deal. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it comes down to. The way I look at it, you buy these rare one-off cars or rare production cars, whatever it may be. And for the most part, I think people, other than like Jay Leno, who has the money to throw at anything, he can. But I mean, a lot of people get these rare kind of cars and they just become a display piece. You either have to insure it for an ungodly amount of money, or, well, you still have to insure it regardless. But I would hesitate to take hardly anything on the road anymore. Anything that's got, super rarity to it. And, you build the clone, like the, GT clone or whatever. Yeah, it looks cool. It serves a purpose. You can build it exactly like one that was built from the factory if you want to, and just drive it, or whichever, Firebird, whatever you want to, do. It's just how you view it. I don't want a car that's super rare. I really don't. I'd rather not even deal with that. I think I'd rather have a clone and be comfortable driving the thing. So, just my opinion. Oh, and it's pretty much good condition. That's probably why. Yep. My knowledge of older Mustang values is way out of date. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really hard to judge some of these. Love to do that with my 77 Firebird, but its numbers matching. Yeah. And see, that's where it becomes, where do you balance that out? It's numbers matching, but how many of them were built? And then verse that against how many are still in existence. And then verse that against how many people are looking for one of those. There's a lot of variables that come along and play in that. Okay, Chris, you're saying autocross. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I mean, I've thought about that with the 65 Mustang that I have. I'm on the fence really, because that car is so, it's so solid underneath. I don't know. It's a V8 3-speed manual, and on one hand, I want to put it back to stock, paint it, and then I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Probably sell it. I don't know. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh yeah, I could put in this suspension. I could do this. I could do that. I don't know if I'll do any of it. But anyway, Boondocker, I wonder if Owen means 2,500 after all you said he's still in school. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, he put 25K and 10K. So I don't know if those, like I say, it sounds awfully high to me, but I don't know for sure. College, but I'm off tomorrow. Okay. Jeff, I'm my first time in the U.S. for 6 months. I looked at quite a few 65 to 69 Mustangs, but I ended up buying a 70 Fastback 302 auto for $550 in 78. In 78, so that's like what? $1 million today, right? I don't know. I don't know what the conversion factor would be. My dream car is a 70 Eliminator, but the way I want it is super rare, but it's not worth the $80,000 price. Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's, you buy something or build something that's all original, super duper rare, whatever options, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like, well, just park it in the garage, put a cover on it. Wait till the market goes up and you decide to sell it because you can't, justify driving the thing. Harvey, I like the freedom of my common 68 Mustang coupe body to do whatever I want and not really hurt the value. Yeah. Well, that's just like this one. This is, it's a simple Mustang. Granted, it had factory air conditioning, but it didn't have power brakes. It didn't have power steering. It didn't have, any real options that made it special. So you're right. You can do whatever you want, and it only actually will probably improve it overall, make it more interesting and more valuable in some sense. Cade, if I were to get my Mustang completely restored, how much do you think it would cost? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you have, first of all, and then what it needs, and all those sort of questions really come into play. And then you have to look at options of, well, I have this, let's say, whatever the car is, and I only want original parts, something like that. That throws a wrench into the system. Or I want the original engine restored correctly and back to this. Is it something you're going to put all the, number codes back on, the grease marks? There's a lot of variables that come into play when that kind of question is asked, because, restoration is, there's a pretty big range in restoration. You know, you can have a restoration where it's just take it apart, clean it up, paint it, put it back together. It's all good. You can have another restoration where you have to cut off this, cut off that, rebuild this, rebuild that, put it all back together, throw some paint on it. It's good. Then you have, you know, way over here, you're going to have this Concours show car original restoration. So it's pretty wide scale when you really get into it. Brian, I will have around 40,000 into my 69 Fairlane when finished, and its value may be 15 to 17,000 when finished. You'd have to love this hobby to do it. Yes. That is 100% true. You have to love what you're doing to do it. Most cases, most people aren't going to make their money back off of their project. Just a fact. You know, even with stuff that I do, honestly, I'm probably not making any real money off of any of this stuff because all the time that I put into it, you know, all the extra time that I put into modifying or making things fit the car properly. There's places out there that if they like the fenders on either one of these cars, the Jade or the Brooklyn Pony, whatever, there's companies out there that they'll just buy it, bolt it on. They don't care about the gaps. They don't care that the width on the flange around the wheel well is wrong. They don't care that the gap at the bottom of the fender is wrong, you know, and they'll just put it on, paint it. There you go. It's what you got us, you know, it's what you get. So, you know, there's companies out there that they just don't care. You know, they just want to get your money and send it down the road. And then there's other people that will do a lot of shady work just to make it pretty and get it down the road. You know, they might put 2 gallons of body filler on a quarter panel and get it shaped right. And then they say, all right, here you go. It's all pretty, you know, so lots of variables there. For me, if I added up all my hours, this car would be probably 50, 60,000. A Brooklyn Pony would probably be $100,000 if I really added up my hours. So anyway, Chris, when I get another job, I think I'm going to get a project car, 70 Torino or Montego, make it stock looking, make a stroker and minor touches. That sounds good. Paul is saying start the engine. Not yet. Not quite yet. I don't know if I'm going to start it or not. Owen, okay, I need to be back. I almost broke my arm trying to lift the car, and I was pretty much almost out of the car. Jack slipped, but I slid out very fast. Well, okay. All right, Owen. I can't help you if you're trapped under the car. Get some jack stands under there. Don't be foolish. Jack stands. Jorge, it is always more fun to drive them than just looking at them and waxing. Just saying. That is very true. That is very true. Give you a bell for that. Jeff, my 550 bargain was no frills, bright orange, one owner with 120,000 miles. Well, you still made a deal on it. No frills, bright orange. That's. I mean, you don't see many orange Mustangs. Chris Barry, I'm having the same issue with the trim decision with window drip or wheel molding. Yeah. I mean, it's there's all kinds of things that we struggle with on these cars. You know, you want it to look one way or look another. You know, Boondock suggests jack stands. Yes, jack stands definitely. You know, as we're talking about these cars, I posted some pictures the other day on Facebook and on Marketplace. Instagram. I was there's a discount store called Ollie's. I don't know how far Ollie's extends out. I don't know, but it's kind of like Big Lots. If you have Big Lots, whatever, Ollie's. So every time I go into Ollie's and I'm looking around at, toys, let's say, cars in particular, I'm trying to find anything that is, of interest to me, whether it's the, certain old Plymouth that I had, or a Mustang, or, a Studebaker, if I can find a Studebaker, Hot Wheels or Matchbox, I'll probably buy it just because it's hard to find stuff like that. But I was at Ollie's. I guess maybe it was last night, and I stumbled across some some Matchbox cars. Now, normally I'm not much of a fan of Matchbox. I like Hot Wheels. They seem to have a better look to them. But I stumbled upon these Matchbox cars, and apparently they have a series out of 6 cars that were all released for this, package or whatever. I don't know how to label it, but it has 6 cars on the back. Okay. 2 of the cars I really don't much care about. One is a 2019 Ford Mustang Coupe. The other one is a 2018 Ford Mustang convertible. But the earliest car they show is a 65 Mustang GT. And I must admit, that's a pretty good looking little car for Matchbox. Normally, like I said, I default to Hot Wheels, but that's a good looking little car. Well, that was the first one I found. And then I looked a little harder. Lo and behold, and I'm out of focus. There you go. Lo and behold, a 68 Mustang GT California Special. Now, what are the odds that they're going to make that car in the first place? But this thing is really well done. Has all the right badging on it, and the fenders and the quarter panel. Has the lights in the grille. I was really surprised because normally you just have a normal, here's a Mustang. But California Special, that's pretty cool. Well, then I found, I know I'm out of focus right now. I know that. We're talking about the 94 Mustang GT. We talked about this, I think, in the last live stream. The 93 Ford Mustang LX SSP. That's the police version we were talking about. 93 model. I thought that was really cool, that they produced these. And then the last one, and I'm out of focus, I know. The last one was I don't know why they built this or why they built this as a Hot Wheels. 68 Mustang 4x4. When I first saw this, I thought it was a 66. But this is a 68. And I was, because I was looking at the picture and I was like, wait a minute, that grill is not a 66. That's a 68 grill. And then I noticed the little lights in the quarter panel or in the fender. I was like, oh, man. So anyway, I bought these. Now, I don't know if anybody else has all these around or not, but they sold these. The original price was $2.99, and they had them on sale for 99 cents. So I had to buy them. Let's see here. David and Cheryl, we're not looking to make money on our 64.5 convertible. Just want to enjoy the process of restoring it and driving it. Yep. Moon Kalesh. Hey, Joe. Hey, Moon. Chris, I lucked out and started with a solid car. I'm probably keeping it for life since it's a father-son project. I'm thinking of doing the W50 two-tone paint and stripe scheme. That would look pretty cool. Moon, you should do a giveaway of one. Well, how do I do a giveaway? What do I need to do a giveaway on this live stream? I'm sure other people do it, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make it, how to make that happen. I don't know what the options are. So maybe I'll do another giveaway on one of my other regular videos. I've done it a few times where I tagged it on the end of my video. Jeff, better still, after 6 months of paying for gas only and gapping the plugs as winter approached, I sold it for $500 to the owner's sister. That was the arrangement. Well, hey, that's okay. That's a good deal. Jorge checking out. All right, glad you were here. Owens, okay, my jack stands are under the car. Good. Don't do that again. You can't escape, well, you did, but luckily, but it's really hard to escape a 3,000, 4,000 pound car. Yeah. Don't do that. There was a time, and I've probably talked about this, but I'm going to mention it again, because I will make this Junkyard story time. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Maybe it's Boondocker. Is it Boondocker that likes the Junkyard story stuff? I can never remember. And I get confused because Boondocker and Cooterlev, both of my mind associates the 00 or double O's. So Boondocker is BOO and Cooter is COO. So for some reason my mind connects that to the somebody that likes the Junkyard stories. Anyway, we're talking about jack stands with Owen. Now, years and years and years and years ago, when I was a little kid at my dad's junkyard, my dad was working on I believe it was a 60, I want to say 68, maybe 69 Roadrunner, I think is what it was. It was some sort of Plymouth. So whatever it was a, pretty good sized car. And he had put what he felt was, jack stands, or had put jack stands underneath the car. However, what he was using for jack stands, from what I understand, was a bunch of, like, I think 4x4 or 6x6 blocks of wood. But he had them like standing on end. I don't remember any of this. I remember just being told about this. But anyway, he had them like standing up. So the car was supported, whatever, by these blocks, and somehow the car shifted while he was under it, and all the blocks fell over. And where he was positioned, one of the blocks was right at his ribs. And so the car came over, and the block was actually crushing his rib cage. He wasn't getting out of there. And of course, again, I don't remember it. I just remember being told about it. My uncle happened to be there that day, his brother. And I think it was my uncle. Pretty sure it was my uncle that responded. It could have been another guy. There was another guy that always hung out up there too, but I thought it was my uncle. I could be wrong. Anyway, I'll just say my uncle because you don't know the difference. Uncle grabbed the jack and, got it underneath the car, got it up, dragged my dad out, and he ended up with, like, I forget how many broken ribs, from that incident. So, it's one thing to have have jack stands, but you got to have the right jack stands. As we all know, Harbor Freight had a recall because they had jack stands failing. Well, that's fantastic. I've got some really outstanding jack stands that I've used for years and years and years, and they hold up fine. But by all means, and I've had people comment. I will say this: there have been occasions where I've done some work on cars where I did not have a jack stand underneath it, but I wasn't underneath it. I've done brake jobs where I have the car up and I've gotten better at it and put a jack stand underneath it just because. But when I'm have a car up in the air on a jack, I'm not going to put myself underneath it at all. And if it does slip or fall, it's going to land on the hub or axle or whatever. So, but that doesn't make it right. Put a jack stand under things. Be careful with it, especially now. I mean, now I'm getting older, my reflexes might not be as quick. So, anyway. All right. So Owen says car is fine now. Good. David Tomlinson. Hello again. Glad you're here. Chris, since you pick up the W50 stripe scheme, I got back and forth, would like the community's opinion. All right. Let me see if I can pull up my email. Okay. Let me wait a minute. Let me download that real quick. And then the other one. Okay. So I'll download those as we're talking here, and we'll have a look at those the stripes. Give me just a second. Come on down. Rudderify. Yeah, Owen, you don't need that told at your funeral. How you doing, Rudder? Haven't seen you on here. I mean, I think you've been on here recently, but I haven't seen you on here in a while. At least I don't think I have. Boondocker, if you remember, my project is a 70 Datsun monster truck. Imagine the odds that I came across a diecast on eBay, 1/27 scale, I think. That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Jeff, Barry, I draw the same connection with Boondocker and Cooter Lev. Yeah. Well, for me, here I am, trying to maintain some flow of who's here, where they're from, what they do, what they have. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I have to, and we all make those associations with certain connect, whatever it is. So yeah, but Boondocker and Cooter Lev are the ones I get confused, at least as far as the junkyard stories go. Okay, yeah. 67 C10 guy, what was your first car? P.S. must have been cool to have access to a junkyard as a youngin. Yeah, you would think so. You would think so. No, I never had a chance to drive anything cool. If it was cool, it was either for sale or it wasn't allowed to be touched. That was pretty much the way it worked at my dad's junkyard. So whenever you say the first car that I had, what was your first car? Let me think about that for just a second. I think the first car that was assigned to me, let's put it that way, was like a 74 AMC Matador. Ugliest car AMC ever built. One of the ugliest cars. It was just ugly. It was green and black, had plaid interior that was green and black, 6-cylinder automatic 4-door, and it was painted with like a roller brush. My dad bought it off of somebody for next to nothing and said, "Here's your car. Start driving that." I was like, "Oh, thanks, Dad." Well, I drove it in a couple weeks, I think, and I didn't tell my dad this, but there was this area. I drove in other cars, but this one was like assigned to me, and there was an area that I called the jump, and it was under like one of those corrugated railroad tunnels, that has the corrugated steel. And when they put in this railroad tunnel, they put a hump in the middle of it, in the middle of the road. So it was a perfect jump. I mean, you hit that about 55, and you would probably sail a good, 20, 30 feet off the ground before you landed. And you never got much air. It was just a nice, smooth landing. Well, I took the AMC Matador. I had to do it the other direction because there was a hill that I could come down so I could get to 55 miles an hour. And I hit the jump, boom, and I landed, and the whole exhaust fell off the car. Everything, muffler, tailpipe, everything, just all came off the car. Well, I ended up driving it that day, and my dad heard me come home that night, and he's like, "What happened to the car?" And I said, "Muffler fell off." "All right, junk it." So it went up in the junkyard right after that because it wasn't worth putting a muffler on. Good question, though. Guido, happy Thursday. Yes. Let's see. Moon, Joe, do you like the first Corvette that came out? The first Corvette? Yeah. Yeah, the 53? I think it's right. 53? Yeah. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's a cool little car. I used to have a model of one that I'd put big slick tires hanging out of it. It was pretty cool. Jerry checking in from Middle Tennessee. Boondocker, hey Barry, thanks for remembering. It's me that appreciates junkyard stories, and don't forget, it's Christmas time for stories around the fireplace. Yeah, we let's see, how could I do that? What was wait a minute. I don't know if this will work or not. No. Oh, wait. There we go. Story time around the fireplace. That's not going to work. Have to have a green screen for that. All right. So let's see. No, don't worry about my jack stands are newer than my other ones. All right. While I'm talking here, I'm going to download those two pictures that were sent to me by Chris, so we can show the group these images and then get an assessment, because he's talking about doing a changing out the look of his 77 Formula Firebird that he has. So let me show you these pictures real quick. This is the stripe kit that he's looking at putting on his car. So you can see it says on the bottom there, I think it says Formula. I can't read it. It's awfully small, at least on my screen. I can't tell what that says. But you can see the kit. You know, it has the bird on the side and, you know, the gold. And then the next picture is this one. And again, I can't read what it says, but it looks like it has gold inserts in the hood and gold trim, and maybe a gold bezels kind of around the headlight opening there. So, you know, what do you think of that? You think it looks cool? Do you think he should leave it alone? Because I think I still have the other pictures. Where do I have those? Yeah. This is what the car looks like right now. No stripes. Looks like it's got chrome on the bottom. Which, to me, honestly, I like it like that. My opinion, I like it without the stripes. Other people might have another opinion, but my opinion, I like it the way I have it right up on the screen right now. So, but the other options, again, this, and then the opposite side looks like that. So, what's your thoughts? Okay. Let me go back up here a little bit. Kuderlev just checked in time for a Junkyard story. We all have fans of Junkyard stories, even if we don't have OO in our names. Yeah. James Green, I hate car ramps. Jack stands or cinder blocks are the way to go. Yeah, well, you know what? I will say, I have a set of car ramps. I've put a lot of trust in those things for a long, long time. My boys use them. I'm not worried about the ramps. But, you know, that's just me. So if you don't like ramps, don't use them. 67, truck fell off jacks down on a friend while doing brakes. He said he never seen me move so fast. Made it out with just a bruise. Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, I do almost everything in here by myself. So I have to really think about it. Whenever if I'm doing anything serious underneath the car, you know, I will definitely put up some jack stands. David Thomason. I can't read. What does that say? Is your video on attaching shotgun side door to Jade? I don't know what you're asking there. Rudder says good. Okay. Oh, God. Rudder says he's got a new job, so he moved. Okay. Well, I guess that's a bell, maybe? Positive? 67. Everything is on eBay. Lost me on there. Okay. Chris, 2-tone versus 1-tone paint job for me and my dad to go back and forth. It'd be cool to do black and a hot rod or plain black. Yeah. I like it pretty, plain myself. Rudder should have my car here with me within the next few months, so I'd enjoy being a part of your project car series. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. I would definitely look forward to that. Warren, did you get that hat from Ken's son at the Jet Base? No, I got it from Ken. This is from 95. November 12th, 95. This is one I bought from Ken. Or part of my ticket deal that I got when I was going to the races. Boondocker, yeah, the diecast has opening doors, hood, taillights, etc., and it's a king cab like mine, and it's customized onto a lifted 4x4. Wow. You know what I've seen, and just a thought, Boondocker, I've seen little matchbox size RC vehicles, and I've seen them with they have little lights in them, and they move just like a regular RC. That would be really cool to build that into an RC deal. David, I thought your official car was a truck in your name. Oh, was the truck? You talking about the Franken truck? Okay. Okay. Gotta go. Love you, Barry. Okay, well, I'm glad you're here, Moon. Oh, and I just ordered my new parts to Dodge Charger. They're coming in a week and 4 days. Cool. That's good. I will say, you're talking about ordering parts. I ordered a bunch of parts from CJ on Monday. Monday night after the live stream, I went on and they had some sort of a discount deal. And I bought the front and rear bumper for Jade. I bought splash guards because the ones I have are rusted through and the front ones are totally gone. So I have a new set of splash guards coming, and various other little clips and pieces, for the grill that I talked about, and also ordered some taillights. Now, I didn't go crazy and order the LED or the Blinker 3 series. I just went with a new set of lenses and gaskets and the trim. So hopefully all that fits the car like it should. I'm going to save the taillight buckets. They have a little bit of rust on the inside. I'll clean that up, repaint them, and just, salvage those pieces. Jason says he likes Chris's car how it is. Yeah, I do too. Paul, wouldn't do the stripes. Looks cleaner in my opinion. I agree. Greg says leave it. Yep. To me, the black and chrome, I love it. Way subtle as the others mimic the flashy TA. See? Everybody's leaning towards the black. Warren Witten, like all the black best. Yes, I agree. Jerry, my 2009 Chevy Mustang GT500 had stripes. They needed updating, so when I took them off, I like the car better without the stripes. Yep. Crash Rider, I like the clean look rather than the stripes. To be honest, 67, to be honest, I may even like it better without the chrome. That may be an option. David, sorry, typing on my phone sucks. Okay. So, you're talking about you remember that, the 72 Chevy. You're talking about my 72 Chevy that had the title that I had bought. That was one I had bought. I think he was asking what my first car was, which the first car was one that was assigned to me. So there's some technicalities there. But my first vehicle I owned technically was the 72 Chevy short bed or long bed. Good call on that. Now I get it, what you're talking about. I get it. Good. Cooter, I would vote no on the stripes. They distract from the beauty of the actual design of the car. I'll give you a bell for that. Jerry, I do think the stripes look good, so it's personal preference. I probably would not put the stripes on the car, though. Yeah. Yeah. Chris, the body molding makes it stand out from the Trans Am at the shows because Trans Am have pinstripes around the wheel wells. Yeah. Yeah, I think it looks a lot cleaner. To me, it kind of, honestly, and I don't want to use the wrong word here, but it almost feels like it clutters the car up a bit by having that extra stuff on it. And maybe I'm wrong, but it just feels like it almost feels a little too busy in a sense, because like I said, this one's showing the gold in the headlights, the gold in the hood, the gold on the bottom, all that sort of thing. And your car just looks clean. I mean, it doesn't need to have something else grab its attention. I think the fact that it's such a clean car and straight, I think that makes it even better. It doesn't have to be I don't want to use the word flashy, but kind of, I think it looks good, nice, clean, and simple. Paul, are Harbor Freight jack stands okay? I can't say one way or the other. They had recalls on some of them, but I don't know. If you're apprehensive, clean up the welds and throw some heavy welds on top and make it stronger overall. But I don't have a good answer on the Harbor Freight stuff on those jack stands. Cade, what should I look for in welding to replace floor pans, taillight panel, radiator, core support? What should you look for in welding to replace floor pans, tail panel, or what do you mean? What should you look for? I don't Give me a better description there. What your question is. 67, great choice on first truck buy. Yep, it was. Oh, and hey Barry, I'll be back. Okay. Boondocker, I don't care what Chris decides, so I'll say Stripes just so he has somebody on his side if that's what he really wants. Okay. Chris, I agree about the chrome. I agree, but the chrome. Yeah. David, gonna get off a bit to let my phone charge. Okay. Jerry, I have 8 of the Harbor Freight jack stands and they have performed great, no problem. So there you go. Endorsement from Jerry. All right. So you're saying, what do I need? Because I have no idea on welding. All right. If you're looking at doing all that work, I'm not telling you to go out and buy the most expensive welder in the world. You don't need to. My Lincoln that I use, the 140T, I don't know what it goes for now. Probably $500-$600, somewhere in that range. I don't know. You can buy from a good welder from Harbor Freight. To get the don't go for the cheap base model. They have the green ones and the orange ones, titanium, and I don't know what the other one is. If you get a MIG, one of those as a MIG, you should be fine. I would prefer you get a MIG over a flux core. Just my opinion. I prefer MIG on doing sheet metal. But if you were to do that, you're going to have to buy a MIG bottle from your local gas supply. So you'll need a welder, wire, and MIG gas. Your welder should come with the gauge kit. So, if you're buying a flux core welder, it doesn't come with the gauges. It just comes with a wire feed. But the MIG setup comes with a set of gauges that connects into the stingers, you call it. And, so you have to consider that as well. The bottle I have is about 3.5 feet tall because it fits underneath of my welding cart, but that doesn't matter. I mean, you can get the really big, tall ones, but they're pretty expensive. So that's what you're going to need to start with. And then, of course, cutting tools and all that sort of stuff. And then watch a bunch of my videos. Probably give you some insight. Let's see. Chris, subtle's the way to go. I like the chrome molding. Me and my dad go back and forth on the decal kit. Yeah. Well, you got my vote is no decal kit, but that's me. Yeah. Okay. You go back and forth. I understand that. Boondocker, no problems with the Harbor Freight jack stands. Okay. Gordon, any jack stands you buy should have a wide footprint at the base. Yeah, that's true. That would be very beneficial. Chris, it catches all the glances from TA groups. Many didn't even see them around, so I agree. Subtle was the way to go. Yeah, I mean, it looks clean and slick. It just my preference. Boondocker, love the orange welder from Harbor Freight, the Vulcan. Awesome warranty program. Yeah, so there you go. That was a brand. I know they have the Vulcan and titanium. So I've said it before, unless something else comes about, like a sponsorship of some sort, and if my Lincoln dies, I would probably go up to Harbor Freight and buy one of their welders to replace what I have. There's a possibility I might be getting a welding sponsorship, possibly. So even if mine doesn't die and I get somebody else wants to sponsor me with a welder, I'll probably swap up and use their welder just to see how it goes. Marshall would suggest 6-ton jack stands so you have more room to work under the car. That is true. And it depends on what you're doing as well. Like for me, I use the smaller jack stands like these right here, which I don't know what they're rated at. 3-ton. So I use these if I'm going like underneath the axle because I can adjust it up a little bit. And I will use these under the frame as well. However, if I'm doing something big, then I use these big boys here, and I don't even know what these are rated at. I know I don't have anything that heavy, but these, obviously you can get a lot more lift out of them. So anyway, it's nice to have a little mix of both, the way I look at it. Chris, he wouldn't be contemplating it if you've seen how much overspray is on the flat panels. Yeah. Well, I mean, depending on how it's done, if you could sand and buff, take care of that stuff, that might be an option for you. But I don't know. It's hard to say. Okay. Otherwise, there's not much else that I have on in my mind to talk about directly. I managed to find some grease on that jack stand. Chris, Barry, since you are a painter, do you do pristine or throw a little in? I don't know what pristine is, because I can tell you I'm not the painter. I am, to me, on a basic level, a painter. So I don't know what pristine is. I don't know. You got to tell me what that is, because I don't know. Basically, all the painting I've done, we had the body shop, and I did probably 90% of all the body work, and then my partner would spray the cars. He would do body work as well, and he would spray the cars and go from there. Now, occasionally, I would step in and help on painting projects, and then there were times where he couldn't be around, so I ended up doing some painting, and it worked out pretty well. So my experience is a lot of watching what he did and, following the procedures, and also interacting with my PPG rep. So, anyway, so if I have a question, I always default to my PPG guy. Say, hey, what's going on here? What do I do? How do I fix this? And he's always willing to help me out. So, I paint, but by default, I'm a welder. I'm a fabricator. Painting is not my favorite thing to do. That's where I get the most stress. I'll be honest. I can take a car and cut it in half and weld it back together and be totally fine. But when it comes to painting, I get anxious, because I know at that point, first of all, everything has to be right prior to, and then once you start spraying, one little thing screws up and you're like, now what? I got to start over, or something. So that's where I stress out. Orange peel, dry spray looking original or completely smooth. Okay. I get it now. I don't do any kind. I don't try to make it look like it has orange peel or any of that stuff. I'm not concerned with that. I'll spray it, cut it, buff it, wax it, whatever, and make it as smooth as possible. I'm not the guy to do, the concourse. Well, it had this much overspray where they spray. The guy that sprayed this side was left-handed, and his angle was such as this. That way got this much on the frame, and the guy on the other side, he didn't care, just did a quick shot. So I don't keep up with that. But anyway, let's see. Harbor Freight welder warranty, extra $100 or so for extra 2 years, which can be extended every 2 years forever. They told me they don't repair; they replace the entire thing, even if it falls off your truck. Interesting. I've never. I think I've only bought like the warranty on my plasma cutter. I haven't bought a warranty on any other Harbor Freight tool, just because. And I really wouldn't even consider it for a jack stand, I guess. But maybe it's a good option. I don't know. Okay. It's been an hour and 15 minutes. I think that's probably long enough for today. We've got 41 people watching or viewing, and there's been, some good interactions. We had a few questions to answer. We had some concerns for Owen, doing things wrong, but he's safe now. Got his jack stand going, so that's a good thing. Anyway. Oh, wait a minute. Nick is just checking in. Man, better late than never, but that's okay. I'm glad you stopped in. Chris, see, our car is pretty much original paint. My painter is great on cars. Seen his work with the original annoys me with the roof, deck, and hood. Yeah, I understand that. All right. So as I said, this will be this will be the end of this video or this live stream. Thank you all for being here. You know, posing questions, answering questions, helping each other out. That's what it's all about. And I will be back on Monday night at 7, unless something crazy happens, but hopefully everything is good. So that's going to be it. Thanks again. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.